This is Super Yacht News with Sisman.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. Okay, on my left hand side here you can see motor yacht Kaos. This is a 110 meter or 360 foot yacht that was built by Ocean Co and delivered in 2016, I believe, 2017. Now, the vessel was originally built for the Emir of Qatar, but the vessel had not been delivered at the time of his death, and it was delivered to his family and then put up for sale. As far as we know, the vessel wasn't used very much and it was for sale from pretty much delivery. I first saw the vessel in the 2017 Monaco Yacht Show, where the deal for the new owner and the current owner was said to have been done. Now, the new owner is Nancy Walton Laurie. She is an heir to the Walmart fortune, and she bought that vessel in 2017. Now, from that point forward, the vessel went into a refit, massive refit, 13 months it took. Now, that's a brand new yacht. It was basically gone in for a 13-month refit. That's pretty unprecedented, but the decor on a yacht built for the Arabs is very, very particular, and that was probably why it was changed, because it's not to the liking of everyone. The vessel was for sale for 300 million at the time of sale, so probably somewhere around that amount. So anyway, we'll move on. Like I said, the vessel is in London. It's still there right now. So if you're in that area, you should go out and check it out. It is a massive, massive thing. Okay, so we'll move on. It's time for a little update on the sailing yacht, the 112 meter sailing yacht that toppled over in a dry dock in South Africa. It was in the V&A Marina, and the ship is called Europa. The vessel was actually being taken back to the synchro lift. From what we know, from what we've seen, the new photographs that we've got from one of our subscribers, the vessel was on a track which was being moved in order to take the ship back to the synchro lift to lower it into the water when the vessel toppled over. One of the crew was injured in that event and he went to hospital. Now, we've got a statement from the company that owns the vessel. They have their own website. I'll read that statement out, and it says, "We wanted to give you an update on the current situation. The injured sailor is receiving the necessary medical care and is doing well, given the circumstances. And in the last days, hard work has been done to stabilize the ship, and a thorough investigation has been started to determine the following steps to get our Lady Europa sailing again." That was a statement from the owners of the vessel. So we'll keep you updated on that as soon as we know more. In the press, right around the time we released our last Super Yacht News video, where we talked about the possibility of Alfa Nero, the yacht that was seized by the Antiguan government, being sold, we said that they had a special license which allowed them to sell the vessel from the US Treasury, and anybody who was interested in purchasing the vessel would have to apply for a license. Now, the Prime Minister, Gaston Brown, he issued a statement on the 17th of May saying that sanctions had indeed been lifted. However, the US Treasury Department has not removed the sanctions on Alfa Nero from its blocked property list. Now, if you go to the OFAC website, as you can see on the screen right now, you can see that Alfa Nero is still listed as blocked property, and it's still connected with Andrei Guryev. What has happened, as we said in the previous video, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. If you want to know the details, you can go, I'll put a link and you can go and watch that video. But basically, it means that anybody who wants to buy the vessel can apply for a license. The US will vet that person, and if they are happy with that person, that they're not on any sanctions list or they're not likely to sell it back to the original owner, then they will be able to bid on that vessel. So it's not the same as having the sanctions lifted, should I say. It also means that once that person has purchased the vessel, they'll be restricted on what they can do until those sanctions are finally lifted. It's obviously, it's probably okay to say that if somebody who is well known and well known as to not be somebody who is likely to sell that vessel back to the original owner, that they probably will lift those sanctions on that vessel. But to say that they've already been lifted is not really accurate. Anyway, we'll leave it there and we'll bring you updates when we know more. Now we'll move on now, and this is to motor yacht Anna. It is Russian owned. It's owned by a chap called Dmitry Robolev. This vessel is the second vessel to have the name Anna. from this owner. The previous one was a 67 meter, which has been sold. This is the newer boat that we're talking about right now. After the invasion of Ukraine and all the Russian yachts, you know, hightailed it out of Europe and the US and went to safe havens, which was in Turkey. Dmitry Robolev's yachts did the same. He's got this yacht and he also has some racing vessels. He's a keen sailor and racer, and they all left to avoid any sanctions. Now, around October time, the vessel went to Dubai, where she's been ever since, more or less in that area. But in the last few weeks, the vessel has come back through Suez Canal and headed back up to Turkey. But she's now gone to an island in Greece called Skorpios. Now, this island is a privately owned island, and it used to be owned by Aristotle Onassis. Well, Dmitry Robolev technically owns that island now. And I say technically because there was a clause in the old contract that said that the family were not allowed to sell it. So what they did is they leased it to him. I think it was for a 99-year lease to get around that clause. So he, like I said, effectively owns it. But his yacht has not been there since the start of the war. But he's now gone back to his island in Skorpios, and the boat is moored at that private mooring on the island. So it is interesting, and at this point he's probably saying, well, if they haven't sanctioned me now, you know, if they were going to sanction him, they would have done it by now. It's been a year since the invasion, and he's not been added to any sanctions list. So it would appear that he feels that he can go back there safely. All right, so we'll move on to the next story, and that is about Jeff Bezos. Now, as you know, from if you've watched previous videos, he recently joined his yacht, his sailing yacht, Koru, for the first time in Palma de Mallorca, and the vessel then sailed to a few different places, but one of the places she stopped in was Cannes. This was during the Cannes Film Festival, and then after that, he left the vessel. We got a word through from a source that gives us details on the movements of his plane to say that he flew back to the US on the plane. So it was a short visit, but whilst he was on board, he did apparently propose to his girlfriend. And as the magazine Build pointed out, the figurehead on that sailing yacht appears to be modelled after his now fiancée. You can judge for yourself whether that is really her. After Mr. Bezos left Koru, the vessels left that area and they sailed to Genoa in Italy, as you can see from some of the footage here. I'm going to do a full video on this in a couple of days, but just for now, you can see some of the footage that we filmed when the boat arrived in Genoa. One last thing before I go, be sure to check out our SuperYacht News channel. You can find it by typing at SuperYacht-News into YouTube. You'll get all of the information from these videos cut up into bite-sized chunks. So if you haven't got time to watch these longer videos, you can watch them there. We'll also occasionally do some exclusive videos on that channel also. And one last thing, be sure to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/esysman. You'll find behind the scenes videos, including a behind the scenes of the recent filming in Monaco and filming of the RV Petrel just before it was pulled out of that dry dock. You'll also get to see exclusive videos not published on YouTube, like the Patreon chat series and the Atlantic vlog series. You'll get early access to features advert free, and you'll get to suggest questions for patron only Q&As. All right, guys, if you've got any information for us about any of these stories or any other stories, please be sure to get in touch through the normal methods. You can get us on the About page of the YouTube channel. You can get us on Instagram, on Facebook Messenger. You can get us on Twitter and also on Threema. Be sure to like this video, very important for the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for future notifications. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.